Okay, good morning, councillors. Good morning, colleagues. Notice is hereby given of a general council meeting of the Cape Agulhas municipality, which is currently being held Wednesday, the 31st of May 2023, in the Municipal Council Chambers, Bredasdorp. Kennis geskied hiermee aan van 'n algemene raadsvergadering van die Cape Agulhas munisipaliteit, wat huidiglik Woensdag 31 Mei 2023 aanvang neem in die munisipale raadsaal te Bredasdorp. Ek gee onmiddellik oor vir die speaker, raadsheer Derek Burger, net om vir ons te open en amptelik te verwelkom.
Baie dankie, munisipale bestuurder. Van my kant af ook hartlike welkom aan almal teenwoordig en ook diegene wat ingeskakel is via die internet. Ons het 'n lang agenda, maar ek dink ons gaan kalm deur hom werk en die besluite regneem. Maar hartlike welkom. En voordat ons enigstens verder gaan, Marius het aangebied om vir ons te open met gebed, asseblief meneer Molig.
Goed, kom ons sit sommer net so. Here, ons kom in stilte na U toe, want as ons buite kyk, besef ons afhanklikheid van U. U het vir ons hierdie week gesorg deur mildelik reën te gee, maar U het ook weer vir ons as rentmeesters van hierdie munisipaliteit weer bewus gemaak van die behoefte wat daar buite is in ons omgewing. Here, ons kom in die begin van 'n nuwe boekjaar na U toe en waar ons 'n begroting moet goedkeur waar ons geen idee het wat U vir ons voorspel het. En ons doen dit in goeie trou, want ons vertrou U. Dankie vir elke posisie wat ons het in hierdie munisipaliteit wat U aan ons toevertrou. En dankie dat U ons hier geplaas het om 'n verskil in mense se lewens te maak. Hier waar ons 'n debat behoort te voer oor waar ons behoeftes die meeste is en dat ons nooit vir U die prentjie sal verloor nie. Want U is God, U voorsien en daarom vertrou wat voorgaan. En Here, die debatte wat U sal plaasvind, dat dit ook in U naam sal wees. Ons vra dit om in U groot naam. Amen.
Baie dankie meneer Molig. Punt nommer 2, aansoek om verlof tot afwesigheid. Applications for leave are received none. All the councillors are here, so and the presentielys, wat is dit? Attendance register is circulated. I thank you. Punt nommer 3, onderhoude met afgevaardigdes en of ander besoeke. Ek en die munisipale bestuurder het geen gekry nie. As daar iemand is wat voel dat daar iets genoem moet word, dan is julle welkom. Indien nie, geen. Notules van vorige vergaderings voorgelê vir bekragtiging. Notule van die algemene raadsvergadering gehou op 26 April 2023. Dis bylaag 1. Het ek 'n voorstel en 'n sekondant dat ons dit kan aanvaar vir korrektheid. Dankie burgemeester, onderburgemeester, dankie. Punt nommer 5, notules van die uitvoerende burgemeesterskomitee vergaderings oor besluite deur hom geneem saam met die burgemeesterskomitee. 5.1, notule van die IBK vergadering gehou op 12 April 2023. Kan ons vir korrektheid 'n voorstel kry? Onderburgemeester, baie dankie. Sekondant, baie dankie. Raadslid Eksteen. Sake voortspruitend uit die notules, is daar enige iemand wat uit enige notule vir ons iets wil aanhaal, na verwys, inset lewer, vraag vra? Silence is consent. Baie dankie. Ons gaan voort. Raadsheer?
Ja, net daar by die, wil ek net vir u noem, dat daar by die toekenning van die raadsheerskap, laat die besluit van die raad sê uitdruklik dat raadsheerskap word aan die einde van die boekjaar toegeken. In April is die einde van die boekjaar. Einde van die boekjaar is Junie.
Ek neem kennis, enige ander inset daarop? Ons los ons. Verklaringsslag mededelings aan die voorsitter. Briewe van dank. Jansen, Triple D. Saterdag aand 13/5/2023 om 23:30 gedoen het om die elektriese toevoer na my huis by 24 Suidstraat te herstel. Die herstelwerk was binne 'n uur gedoen in reënweer vandat dit aangemeld was. Uitsonderlike diens verdien 'n pluimpie en moet aangemeld word want daar is min hedendaags met waardering Gert Bouman. Steven se span, baie geluk. Hendrik, jy sal dit oordra asseblief. Baie dankie. Funksies van die maand. Ek het geen kennis gekry van funksies nie. Enige iemand wat dit kan ondersteun? Burgemeester?
Spreker, baie dankie, net een. Ek dink dit is belangrik. Is nie 'n groot funksie nie. Maar in Arniston het daar lid van die gemeenskap, ene meneer Sams, saam met sy mense vir wie hy betrek het, bietjie beautifying gedoen rondom ons gemeenskapsaal. En hy het 'n paar weke terug e-pos gestuur waarin hy net versoek dat ons net op 'n stadium uitkom, foto's te neem en dan ook dankie te sê aan die mense wat hom gehelp het. En ek wil ook van die geleentheid erbij maak om vir meneer Sam selfs net eens dankie te sê vir sy bydrae. En ek het met LCB en my PA gereël dat ons dan volgende week in Vrydag Arniston besoek en dat hulle ook die wijkraadlid en die amptenaar wie betrokke is met nooi. So ons het 'n amptelike bedanking en gaan neem dan Arniston. Want dit is regtig 'n mooi gebaar van mense wat eienaarskap vat van hulle dorpe. Baie dankie.
Dis inderdaad so, nie net die gemeenskapsaal nie, maar langs aan daai kerkpotte ingesit met die mooiste plante en hy het nog planne om nog dinge vir julle te doen, maar hy is begeerig om jou te ontmoet. So, jy moet miskien maar net op 'n stadium 'n afspraak maak en vir jou ouers gaan kuier. Ek sal jou die nommer, naam en rang gee as jy dit nodig het, hoor. Maar jy gaan dit Vrydag reg kry as jy dan daar is. Dankie burgemeester, ons het hom so. Aanwys van afgevaardigdes.
Ook net 'n funksie vir die maand. On Friday, the June of 16, we're going to have a Youth Day event in Ward 3. The theme is Youth Against Crime, and we're doing it in partnership with the Community Police Forum and also the police and various organizations within Ward 3. And we're also going to be launching the new skateboard park ramp that they've currently built there. We're also going to play five-a-side soccer and some fun games on the day. It's going to happen at the Anin Boys and Urban Park. And we would really like to invite the public also to come and attend the event and come and enjoy the June 16 event with us. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. I think Mr. Mulich will make a note of that and also pass it on to the relevant department that can assist you in advertising it. So thank you for your initiative. Sal nog aan, ekskuus.
Ja, dankie Speaker. Wijk 6 en wijk 2 het ook 'n jeugdag aan Belstraat en dit is awareness en empowerment. Ons het gereël dat daar soos 'n talent show is daai dag en jeugdiges moet goed gee soos ou klere skenk en om gemeenskap te leer om te gee en ja, en die jong kinders veral. So ons het ook jeugdag in wijk 6 in Belstraat.
Dankie raadslid, meneer Mulich het daarvan nota gemaak en ons sal dit ook vir jou help versprei en promoveer. Baie dankie.
Ja.
Amen.
Speaker, net om die raad ook in te lig van twee ander inisiatiewe van ons Human Development Department is dat die verkiesing van die volgende jeugraad vind plaas, ek dink hierdie Saterdag die 3de by die Toesong Service Center. So raadslede is die aard van die saak en ook natuurlik ons van die administrasie se kant af sal ons ook daar inloop net om regtig die jeug net te ondersteun en seker te maak dat ons 'n dinamiese jeugraad tot stand bring weer in Kaap Agulhas munisipaliteit. En dan ook onder youth development, they also the youth coordinator there is busy with what she calls a winter drive. I think the newly appointed Janine, very dynamic, and she's starting with a winter drive where she's also inviting councillors as well as officials to also contribute towards this winter drive, bringing clothes for people for the winter, blankets, even if it's a soup drive or some. There will be further communication to everybody in this regard, but it was just encourage everybody to also participate in this drive. Thanks.
7.4 dringende sake deur die speaker. Ek het niks dringend nie, maar ek het weliswaar 'n paar wat ek net wil noem terwille van korporatiewe en munisipale voldoening en veral na die veranderings aan die struktuurwet en die stelselwet is daar etlike prosedures en beleide en kodes wat ons moet aanpas. Die eerste een het is reeds gedoen, the Code of Ethics. It was circulated, sorry, it's in the agenda. But it was scrutinized by Tracy and myself, and we made some changes for your approval. Rules of order, the same thing. The Structures Act changed such that our rules of order are dated, and we have to update it. So I'm in the process of that. Of this, I thought Tracy and I would finalize it. I wasn't aware that she was going to Budapest, so it'll have to wait for her return, but I'll soon circulate that and then we can submit it on the 30th of June, hopefully to be approved. The consequence policy was also drafted and shall also be circulated for comments, but that's more the MMs and the directors' input that we require on that, but it will be circulated to councillors too. Gender-based violence, the ambassadors, the MEC asked us to make sure that each ward committee nominates a gender-based violence ambassador. As long as we can have it by the end of June, that we can submit it to the minister, then we in good order. And I thank you for those who have already sent it through. Commissioner of Oaths, I'll keep it short. But if you look at the Constitution, and I'm going to read quickly from this, there are two ways of being designated a Commissioner of Oaths in terms of the Justices of the Peace and Commissioners of Oaths Act of 1963. Now, the one applicable to us is number 2, designation as an ex officio Commissioner of Oaths, which means that an organization motivates why certain officers or officials in its employ would need to be appointed as commissioners. The motivation must be submitted to the director, and then it's a long story who that is. They will draft a notice to be published in the Government Gazette, which is then submitted to the Office of the Chief State Law Advisor to agree, whereafter it's submitted to the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services via Director General of Justice and Constitutional Development for consideration. After the Minister has signed the draft government notice, it is then published in the Government Gazette. Being an ex officio Commissioner of Oaths is only for a period while you are in the specific post or capacity. 2 documents, application form, which is with Elsaby, you can fetch it and take it back to her, and a certified copy of your ID and a letter of recommendation from the employer. The MM will submit a letter, or rather furnish you with a letter from the municipality to support that. Now, then it says, you have to make an appointment and blah, blah, blah. What we normally do here, and we got away with it in the past, is that we take it to the magistrate, and if he then deems it necessary that he has to have a meeting with you or an interview, then he can do so. Otherwise, they normally accept it if it comes from the MM and properly filled out all the forms and the documents, etc. Nou, dis 'n goeie stempel om op jou lesenaar te hê, want jy hoef nie mense polisiestasie toe te stuur nie. Maar daar is 'n klomp verantwoordelikheid aan betrokke. En die Salga se Mario Baatjies sê indien ons 'n groep het wat kwalifiseer en dan deur KAM stempels gegee word, verskaf word, dan sal hy die opleiding kom doen om te seker te maak dat jy nie 'n fout maak met die stempels nie. Want dit ignorance of the law, no excuse. As jy daarmee 'n foutjie maak, het jy 'n probleem. So neem kennis, dit is iets wat ons gewis nodig het, veral in die kantore, want ek dink in die kantore is dit ek en Raadsheer Nieuwoud en Marius, wie nog? En nou moet Nelita en al hierdie mense gedurig mense polisiestasie toe stuur, wat die polisie het ander dinge om te doen, dink ek, as om te sit in stempels of briewe te stempel. So ek dink die wat belangstel, asseblief kom ons kyk of ons daar ten minste nog 'n paar mense in die munisipaliteit kan kry, vir al die wijkraadslede wat ver weg is in hulle wyke wat tog mense kan help. So dis al wat ek daaroor wou gesê, dit lê by Elsabie, die vorm is so 'n amptelike vormpie. Raadsheer Jantjies?
Ja, dankie Speaker. Ons wat reeds commissaris van Ede is, moet ons dit op doen?
Nee.
Ek wil net seker maak.
Nee, behalwe as jou titel verander het. As jou titel verander het, wat ons nou nie gebeur het nie, jy is nog altyd in dieselfde posisie as raadsheer by die munisipaliteit en dis wat op jou stempel staan. So jy's veilig, jy hoef nie te weet.
Ek is altyd seker op my titel verander het.
Wel, as jy twyfel, kom wys. Goed, ek sal dan met Mario Baatjies die reëling tref vir wanneer dit ons op daai punt kom. We are also in the process of updating our ward committee policy and shall soon be circulated to all councillors. Ek het hom en hy's baie onlangs, hy's 31 Desember van 21, dink ek. 21 is hy aangepas, maar die struktuurwet het intussen verander. Nou is daar weer 'n paar goed wat ons nou eers weer hier moet inwerk. So ek sal die week daardeur werk en dit ook vir Paul Valentine gee om na te kyk. En dan sal ek dit aan julle sirkuleer vir aan al die raadslede, gaan nie net die wijkraadslede dit gee nie. Lewer kommentare dat ons by die volgende vergadering kan besluit of ons hom aanvaar of nie. Maar dit moet gedoen word, ons het nie 'n keuse nie. Dan die laaste punt is punt 7, die krag gaan 12 uur af en die personeel het vir ons gevra of ons dan net kan 'n breek neem. Wat ons ook pas, want 2 uur lank sal 12 uur 'n lekker breek wees. Dan vat hulle 15 minute om net weer op te stel, want alles skop uit as hulle nou as die krag uitskop. So neem kennis dat ons 12 uur net gaan breek, ook diegene wat ingeskakel is, that we will take a comfort break at 12 because of load shedding. I thank you. Dan dringendes terugvoering vanaf raadslede oor vergaderings bygewoon, is by punt nommer 8. As ek reg is, by die sprekersforum, ek het dit ingebind. Daarin is ook heel wat wetgewing, soos julle kan sien, wat hulle wil hê ons moet na kyk. Van ons vergaderings is onwettig. Ons mag nie 'n hybride vergadering hou indien ons nie in ons ordereëls dit voorsiening voormaak nie. So daar's 'n paar sulke goed wat ons nou moet herstel. Maar ek het dit ingebind, dit is daar. Enige kommentaar, vrae? Urban Agenda, bladsy 13 en 14. Enige insette daar, iemand wat wil uitbrei? Almal het dit gelees. Silence is consent. Dan kom ons by punt nommer 9 en dit is die verklarings, nog mededelings deur die uitvoerende burgemeester. Burgemeester, oor aan jou.
Baie dankie Speaker, amptenare en raadslede. As ook vir die publiek. En ek wil ook vanaf my kant af u groet en almal 'n baie geseënde vergadering vir vandag toewens. Baie dankie aan ons eie amptenare wat baie hard gewerk het om al hierdie lang agenda, al was dit op, jy weet, tot die laaste dag. Maar baie dankie, ek dink daar gaan baie werk en wat ons altyd nie verstaan nie. Maar ons het dit, en maar baie dankie van my kant af. Dan inwoners, dit is ook die dag waarop ons as raad die finale begroting vir die boekjaar 23-24 moet oorweeg om te aanvaar, sodat die werk van ons munisipaliteit kan voortgaan ongehinderd. We are not going through the entire document today, the whole, the content of the budget, as we as council worked through the draft budget and gave inputs. Myself as executive mayor with the officials visited all the communities and received inputs for consideration in the budget, and that's where we visited in all our towns, in the foyers of all the municipal buildings, and you can also go and Google on the web at www.capeagullas.co.za. I myself are deeply grateful for all the hard work, all the effort that our officials from all departments, all the directors, the managers put into this budget, especially Mr. Van Biljon, Sean, and their teams for putting everything together in the past month and week, so that we have the finished product in front of us today. It is not an easy task to present to you and to the public of Cape Economic Times. And it is not easy and always possible to reflect the wishes of all our residents in all our towns in a budget every year. But as the executive mayor, I present to the public and the council the funded budget 23-24 as per National Treasury's prescriptions and expectations from local government, with a projected income for Cape Agulhas municipality in our budget of 450,577,000 rand, and a projected expenditure of 453,867,000. That leaves your municipality with a surplus of 1,809,000 rand. And that shows how tight the budget is. We're expecting from provincial and national government transfers and subsidies to the amount of 16,623,000 for this new financial year. Inwoners, soos ons alreeds ook gesê het, ons moes 6 maande gelede ook ongeveer 20 miljoen alreeds in die huidige begroting aanpas om voorsiening te maak by die enorme uitdagings en die impak wat beurtkrag op die bedryfsbegroting van die munisipaliteit het. Even more difficult is it for me as executive mayor to see and experience the capital budget with an enormous reduction over the current amount of this financial of 70 million rand, and it now it lowered down to 50 million rand, all because of huge expenses that this council now has to budget for and incur to counter the impact of the load shedding. We have to keep our dams full of water. We have to keep our sewage treatment plants working. We have to supply our pump stations with alternative power, all through rented or purchased generators, to secure service delivery to each and every one of you. Ons moet toesien, ook as raad en as administrasie, myself as burgemeester, hoe inkomste veral uit 'n baie belangrike bron wat gegenereer word deur elektrisiteitsverkope en die verhoogde uitgawes wat aangegaan word om oortyd aan personeel te betaal, elke nag uit hulle warmhuise moet gaan om pompe en kragopwekkers in die nag ook na te gaan. Everything comes with a price. We're not able to do what we would like to do with a larger amount of money in a capital budget. But still, this council and administration has been able to serve you as community and made absolutely sure that the necessary services are provided every day. Through the challenges of COVID and now the negative impacts and the effects of load shedding, we have been able to provide you the insurance that despite any negative impact, everything that has came our way, the municipality, Cape Agulhas, is still managing to provide decent services under enormous pressure and still financially sustainable. Baie dankie aan elke raadslid se bydrae, die munisipale bestuurder, elke direkteur, elke bestuurder, asook elke liewe werknemer van Cape Agulhas vir u besondere opoffering en bydrae. Ek as burgemeester waardeer en bedank u opreg. Ek glo en vertrou dat die raad vandag die finale konsep begroting, soos die IDP sal aanvaar en goedkeur. Spreker, net ander twee afkondigings of aankondigings is eerstens wat ek namens Cape Agulhas, die inwoners van Cape Agulhas, die raad en die amptenare ons innige simpatie en medelee wil ons oordra aan die families wat geraak is deur die 5 kinders in Kaapstad wat gisteroggend in 'n ongeluk dood is. Dit tref 'n ouer. Niemand van ons sal verstaan wat deur 'n ouer sou gaan as dit, jy weet, die boodskap wat oorgedra moet word nie. Ek dink weer eens, dit is 'n spieël vir elke leier in elke gemeenskap, dat ons moet proaktief optree en nie wag tot iets op in ons deur gebeur nie. Ons het iets soortgelyk ervaar maande gelede op die Struisbaaipad, waar mense agterop 'n voertuig gesit het en 'n ongeluk betrokke was waarby mense noodlottig dood is. En ek wil 'n beroep doen op die portefeuillehoof dat ons werklik waar binnekort ook as administrasie en raadslede elke dorp besoek en miskien saam met die wetstoepassers by padblokkades net so 'n welwillendheid besoek doen en te kyk en ervaar hoe word mense vervoer? Hoe word kinders vervoer? Hoe word mense vervoer na hulle verskillende werksplekke toe? Net dat ons jy weet 'n beeldjie het van dit, dat ons dit nie in Cape Agulhas weer wil ervaar nie. Die tweede aankondiging is, ek kan ook vandag aankondig dat Cape Agulhas munisipaliteit een van 6 munisipaliteite is wat deur die premier van die Wes-Kaap uitgenooi was om deel te wees van 'n potensiële alternatiewe energieprojek. Baie dankie aan meneer Phillips, ons munisipale bestuurder, dan ook Steve Cooper, die man van aksie, wat saam met my as burgemeester die aanbieding gaan bywoon het in Kaapstad. Ek kan nie vandag verseker dat Cape Agulhas munisipaliteit op hierdie oomblik en gegee ook die voorleggings wat ons gesien het en wat ons ervaar het van ander munisipaliteite, dat Cape Agulhas een van die best toegeruste munisipaliteite is en die mees voorbereidste is om die goedkeuring van die premier te ontvang. Indien Cape Agulhas in die volgende 7 dae gelukkig is en dat Cape Agulhas se naam uitgeroep sal word deur die premier en aanvaar word as een van die suksesvolle munisipale kandidate, mag ons as munisipaliteit voor Kersfees 2023 'n sonpaneelplaas met opgaar kapasiteit deur batterye hier in Bredasdorp op te rig. Net een negatiewe punt, elke munisipaliteit kon net een dorp binne sy munisipale grense kies om deel uit te maak van hierdie projek. Ek weet mense gaan nou vra, hoekom Bredasdorp, hoekom nie Struisbaai nie, hoekom nie Napier nie, maar dit is ongelukkig 'n aanbod wat ons nie van die hand kon wys nie, en dat ons aanvaar het, ook op hulle aanwysings dat Bredasdorp as die ekonomiese grootte en werksgeleenthede en besighede wat baie swaar kry, dat Bredasdorp die eerste dorp sal wees binne die grense van Cape Agulhas om voordeel te trek uit hierdie projek. Dit moes ook 'n dorp gewees het wat 100% deur munisipale kragnetwerk bedien word. En binne die grense van Cape Agulhas is eintlik net Bredasdorp en Napier wat 100% deur munisipale netwerk voorsien word. Die ander dorpe word gedeeltelik deur Eskom en dan ook Kapagallas voorsien. Die gevolg sal wees dat Bredasdorp na die aankondiging en wanneer die projek sal afskop en klaarmaak, dat Bredasdorp se inwoners 4 load shedding stages laer sal wees as die nasionale netwerk. So wanneer ons die nasionale netwerk aankondig dat ons op stage 6 is, dan sal Bredasdorp stage 2 ervaar. En wanneer ons stage 4 ervaar nasionale netwerk, dan sal Bredasdorp kwytgestel wees op daardie stadium van enige load shedding. En dit is ons bede en ons wense dat ons dit sal ervaar nog hierdie jaar. Ek is ook reeds besig. Ek het vanoggend weer met daaroor gepraat om alternatiewe beleggers te nader om so gou as moontlik, hoop en glo so gou as volgende jaar dat ons ook ons ander dorpe uit hierdie nagmerrie ondervinding kan kry. Daar's geld beskikbaar vir nog projekte, maar hierdie een word spesifiek deur die kantoor van die premier van die Wes-Kaap gedryf. So die volgende dorp mag Struisbaai wees of Napier wees en dan ook enige ander klein dorpie wat ons baie graag kry. Die laaste aankondiging wat ek as burgemeester wil maak is dat ek verlede maand 'n commitment gekry het van 'n enkele gesin in Kapagallas, commitment van R1 miljoen om menslike ontwikkeling in Kapagallas te ondersteun. Dat die fondse beskikbaar is, sodat ons saam met Luzet se kantoor werk en kyk wat se programme daar, programs of hope daar kan wees om ons jeug te bemagtig, om ook ons ouer mense te bemagtig en wat ons kan maak met R1 miljoen. Die geld is op aanvraag oorbetaal aan Casca en dat ons dan ondersteuning kan kry van enige projek wat ons mag nodig het. Ek sal tydens die volgende raadsvergadering, wanneer ek met Luzet vergader, die direkteur vergader, aankondig watter projekte Kapagallas graag sal wil voorlê om 'n voordeel te kry uit hierdie commitment van hierdie gesin. Ek sal ook vra of sy naam bekend gemaak kan word. Ek het ook reeds 'n verklaring uitgereik in Elsie oorhandig om net, jy weet, te sê dit is 'n skenking gewees. Daar is ook sekere vrae wat hy of sy die familie wil gee waaraan hulle graag wil sien dat ons sulke projekte moet spandeer of voorstel waar ons kan spandeer. Maar dat het spesifiek vir my gekonting sê, dis ondersteuning aan die kantoor van die burgemeester. So van my kant af, speaker, en raadslede, baie dankie. En ek hoop en vertrou dat ons 'n geseënde vergadering sal hê. Baie dankie. Thanks. Dan fluisterend iets, ek dink dit is ook iets wat ons tog moet aanmeld, dat ek en die munisipale bestuurder het hierdie jaarlikse awards ceremony gaan bywoon. En dit is ook iets dat Kapagallas was
when we get funding, it's a public platform, but just know that because at the end of the day, it could have been somebody that has got political ties. And I think that is something where we can leave the gap open. And I think the mayor might take note to that. So yeah, I just want to raise that. Please, in future, inform the councillors what's happening, even an email so that we can be aware, because it's not really very nice to hear stuff via social media while you're a councillor within the municipality. Thank you, Speaker.
Burgemeester.
Speaker, net ek waardeer die raadslid se inputs. I think this is the first council meeting after the ceremony of awards, and this is only invitations that the municipalities receive. We don't know beforehand what we're going to expect and what we're going to receive. So we wait there on the invitation. And then we receive it. And this is the platform where we announce it to everybody. Maybe there's other ways, and I'm taking it up from the councillor. You know, how we dealing and how we communicate with one another. The other thing is the funder. As I said, I will make sure with from the family whether I can, you know, mention their names. And I also said, as ek die geld ontvang, en as daar enige bybedoelings is van hierdie persone, ek is die eerste persoon wat iemand sal sê, nee, dankie, as jy iets in terugvoer wil hê. Maar het gaan daaroor, as jy enige iets ontvang, dat jy dit moet verklaar. En dit is wat ek gedoen het, verklaar. En ek sal 100% seker maak, as burgemeester, dat hierdie programme in samenwerking met Josep se kantoor uitgerol word. Ek wil ook die volgende raadsvergadering aankondig, met wat ek met IBK bespreek het en wat ons oor die volgende 2 weke sal praat. Daar is ook interventies uit my kantoor met provinsie en ander stakeholders oor 5 basic game changes. And the first one are to improve on the housing issues and the upgrade of the informal settlements. But I've agreed and I told to the IBK dat ek hierdie proses baie graag as die MMN gesê hy die direkteur wil net weet. By volgende maand wat is my visie daarop, ons sal dit uitklaar en dan sal ek 'n sessie hê met al ons as 5 projekte wat aangekondig het. Dat is al die raadslede hier sal hê wat belangstel om werklik waar daardeur te werk. En dit sal die volgende raadsvergadering aankondig. Baie dankie.
Dankie collega's. Ek neem moeilikheid dit alles in die notulen vastgelegd. Dankie. Dan ek oor vir die MM.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I think we can immediately go into the agenda items within this agenda of council. I can refer you to page 5 of the agenda, item 10.1. It has to do with the final amendment of the 22 to 27 integrated development plan. I think councillors are fairly familiar with this process and also aware about the legislative compliance that we need to adhere. New council has been established, I think in 2021. For the first year, the council has adopted the IDP of its predecessor, and it actually gave us a year to develop an amended IDP based on the new strategic objectives of council. Now, this is now the document that is before council. We have embarked on a comprehensive public participation process. It has been duly advertised in the in all the media, printed as well as social media platforms on the website of the municipality. There's not even any comment that came in or objections that came in, and subsequently we're now putting it before council for the adoption of the amended IDP for Cape Agulhas municipality. The management recommendation is on page 6, and that is that the amendments to the integrated development plan be approved in terms of section 34 of the Municipal Systems Act, and that the final IDP amendments be approved by council. You will also note there's a third addition to the management recommendation. that we were also planning to have the amended or revised spatial development framework also at this council meeting, but there's a further item in this agenda which now will just explain what the process is going to be in terms of this. So what we are requesting council is with this IDP, we actually are adopting the existing spatial development framework of the municipality. So this is the item before council at this point in time. Speaker.
Comments, input? Raadslid.
Dankie, speaker. Ik wil eerst Tracy en Lindy en haar span gewerkt met die documenten die we gekregen. Als ik een klein goed kies in die documenten, dat is iets die IDP en ons wil vir hulle dankie sê vir die en die klein goedertjies sal ons vir hulle uitwys onder andere ek dink bladsy 93 is daar byvoorbeeld hulle het die ingebring die dienste by die toesomsenter dit het mos maar nou daarna gekom die poskantoor is daar in daar is ook ander klein goedertjies maar ons sal dit onder hulle aandag bring baie dankie.
Dankie Raadslid, daar was nog 'n naam. Ag, hand.
That was me. I think I'm partly covered by the alderman Jantjies with regard with the IDP in support of the third point, bullet maybe 3. We as ANC we don't support maybe the SDF. I think if we look back, Speaker, in part of the IDP processes that need to take place, but I foresee some difficulties for the community even to attend even those meetings. So it will look like cut and paste. We were there, but the attendance of the community is very, very, very low. The turnout, which is remained a problem if because the community are the ones who need to raise even this project and prioritize even those projects need to be IDP. I don't know how should we even have other approach in this regard, because you find that other projects are dormant, although has been raised by the community. So the slow pace, it make maybe people not to be interested even to attend the meeting. I think we must by all means come up with a plan how to address even the participants of the community, because they will come up so that we raise these issues in 5 years and then nothing happened. I'm just trying to raise it even now. And also congratulate even the department, maybe Lindy and also the other official within the in such a maybe in those maybe project that is on the IDP, and also the implementation part remain the challenge.
Thanks, Councillor. Point made, point taken. I think we're going to allow Mrs. Nell in the next 2 or 3. Do you want to do it now? Okay, but it's topical. Yeah, let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say, in terms of Section 7D of our municipal planning bylaw, after consideration of comments received from the public and from the provincial minister, in terms of our spatial development framework, the draft, we were supposed to bring the document back to council for adoption. But unfortunately, yesterday morning, in the morning hours when we received the draft document, I went through it and it's sad to say it's not a credible STF. I discussed it with the office of the minister, and it's also my responsibility as the senior town planner to protect the integrity of the planning department of this municipality. So I must make sure we bring a document to council that's credible to be approved, and it's in line. That should be in line with our planning bylaw and our provincial legislation. Therefore, also as advised by the Office of the Minister, we should it is recommended that we should grant the consultants more time to finish this document, to make it a credible STF, and to bring it back to Council. And it will also involve, again, a public participation process, because we have a responsibility towards our community as well. They need to see the maps. The maps are still not finalized, and we can't put something on a table and it's not complete. So it's really sad to say it's not credible, and the recommendation on the table is there, but it's not a fixed, it's just a basis. We're still waiting for the Office of the Minister to give us time frames. The time frame for the public participation, there's nothing in our bylaw, also nothing in our provincial legislation about this. So they are currently assisting us with this process, and this is also my recommendation that we don't approve the STF as it is.
Okay.
Dankie, MB. Ja, ek wil ook daarom net bygevoeg het die rede hoekom ons die STF ondersteun. U weet, ek dink ons het oor genoeg publieke deelnameprosesse gehad. Ek was by 4 gewees. En waar gemeenskap hulle insette gegee het. En vir ons as oppositie is dit onaanvaarbaar as gemeenskappe 4 maal hulle insette gee. En word die aggeslaan na opgee. Jy weet, ons wil die politiek bring in hierdie ding hier. Ek wil vir u net uitleg, as ons vat die opgradering van Swalitja, waar ons sit op die oomblik met 'n 500 radius, wat ons aansoek gedoen het, natuurlik om het te verminder na 200 meter. Ons weet, die opgradering moet plaasvind daar vir die mense daar in Swalitja. En hulle moet buite die radius val natuurlik, buite die vullis terrein van ons. Want die area is naby die vullis terrein. En die mense wat daar bly is African mense en bruin mense wat daar bly. Nou sit ons met dieselfde probleem op Struisbaai, oor kan die pad, wat ontwikkeling moet plaasvind, wat teengestaan word omrede, die vullisterrein is naby, ek skat is 1 of 2 kilometer daarvan waar die ontwikkeling gaan plaasvind. Maar dit word teengestaan, want die mense daar naby is natuurlijk nie gelukkig. En dit is onaanvaarbaar vir ons. En dit is die rede, een van die redes, hoekom ons die goed nie aanvaar nie. So, dankie, ek wil net dit op rekord plaas.
Dankie raadsheer. Is daar nog 'n hand? Daar was 'n hand daar, ja, burgemeester. Raadslid Lou, kom ons gee jou eers kans.
It's very important that we also say from the ANC side why we actually not approving this is because we are concerned that the current spatial development framework does not allocate sufficient land for housing the needs of the poor in the informal settlements. This inadequate allocation perpetuates the cycle of poverty and denies the communities the opportunity to improve their living conditions. We recognize that the spatial development framework should prioritize equitable access to land for housing, including the provision of basic services such as water, sanitation, and electricity. It is essential that we address the root causes of informal settlements and work towards a sustainable solution to uplift our most vulnerable citizens. The ANC calls for a comprehensive review of the spatial development framework to ensure that it adequately addresses the housing needs of the poor in the informal settlements. This review should involve the robust community engagement, Ms. Nell said, and I want to thank her for being honest in this regard. And I think really we need to look at the situation, especially when it comes to the allocation of land for housing. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor.
Speaker, ja, ons het gehoor wat Sonel nou vir ons sê. Die punt wat nou opgehaal was rondom die vulliskamp en die radius. Ons as raadslede moet erken dat we alles in het vermogen doen om die radius aan te spreek. Dis buitekant ons hande. Die grond op Struisbaai is klaar goed te keer. Die ontwikkeling, dit was lank terug al goed te keer. Nie een van hierdie raadslede of amptenare maak kapsie teen daai ontwikkeling nie. Daar's geld gespandeer en die ontwikkeling sal daar plaasvind tensy die inwoners van Struisbaai Noord dit nie daar wil hê nie. So, voorsien, ek dink dit is hierdie platform om hierdie 2 punte op te haal nie. Dit is 'n proses wat gedryf word met alle krag uit hierdie administrasie uit. Opgradering van informele areas. As Kaap-Agulhas die enigste munisipaliteit wat nie ernstiger is op die informele opgradering van informele areas, dan wil ek nie sien hoe die res van Suid-Afrika lyk nie. Ek wil die versekering gee dat ons alles doen. Daar is 'n reedse verslag. Die minister het reeds al fondse goedgekeur om die aanvoerwerk te doen. PEP het 'n verslag uitgedien. Kaap-Agulhas is een van die enigste munisipaliteite gewees om so vir hulle op te stel, die upgrading of informal settlement program. And we're just awaiting on not approval, from funding from the municipality. There's land available, we've got land available, there's no issues about land availability. En ons sal nie enige in ons pad staan, en ons praat ook van inclusive gemeenskappe, en niemand sal die pad staan om ons gemeenskappe inclusive te maak aan die einde van die dag nie. Thank you.
Dankie burgemeester. Councillor Donald.
Thank you, Speaker. I just wanted to, maybe you could clear something up for me. I don't know if it got lost in the translation, but I understand that our senior town planner has taken responsibility of saying that the department's not happy with the SDF, that we have all agreed that we're going to go back to the drawing board. She's in consultation with the minister, and this proposal was that we put the old SDF in until we bring it back to council. So I just, am I missing the arguments that are having here?
Not at all.
So we actually all agree?
We all agree,
Okay.
we've all got the same sentiments, and if you read the point, then it says the additional one that came, that we don't approve it. And we give her more time to, with province and with the department to come up with a new SDF. But I'm allowing people, no, 10.4, sorry, where am I now? Final draft not be recommended is this one. 10.3, we have a new document, and it says clearly that the attached final draft MSDF is not approved. We don't have to argue any further. We allow the department to come up with a new SDF in the next couple of months. Thank you.
Ja, ek wil net kommentaar liewer op die burgemeester. Ek wil net sê laat ons debatteer nou die SDF nie behuisingsvergadering nie. En daar was nog nooit enige probleem met die ontwikkeling in Struisbaai waar die behuising is en in Swelitja die opgradering in Swelitja ook insluitend in 'n Piri. Ons is ten volle laat dit geskied. So ons is by die SDF nie oor behuising nou nie. Baie dankie.
Goed, dankie collega's. Kom ons los dit net daar. Ons 10.3 is eenvoudig, excuse, wil jy hom hanteer?
Yeah,
Okay.
Chairperson, let me just handle this. This is just compliance matters. You must help me, Lindy. The spatial development framework is a core component of the IDP in terms of section 26 of the Systems Act. So that is why we need to make reference in the first, when we approve the IDP. Somebody that is going to assess the IDP will look for the spatial development framework. Now, currently, we do not have a revised one yet. That is going to go out again. But it's important, Marius, to make mention of this in your council resolution, that the existing SDF that has already been approved by council, that is statutory compliant, forms the core component of the approval of this IDP. Right, Lindy? So that must just be mentioned here in the council. And then what we now handled actually was was item number. No, that's 10.1. But the new item was in terms of 10.3 was had to do. You would remember the initial item was for the approval of the revised spatial development framework, which has not now materialized. So there's a new item for that one. that the draft final MES Municipal Spatial Development Framework is not approved by this council, it will go the routes as we have indicated now. So that can also be then, that recommendation can also be adopted. Yes. I just want to make a plea to councillors that we are going to have another opportunity now. And specifically, Councillor, I mean, it's fundamental that you raise that, you make that a final submission to Sunal and her department to make sure that we address that while we have an opportunity now, and not wait when the table comes again on the table, the same as Alderman Jantjies has also indicated. I know Marius is making reference, but if that can just be submitted as a formal submission, because if we talk about public participation, it also includes us around this table. We also allowed to comment on the strategic documentation of council. Thank you very much.
Speaker, dit kost die raad toch extra geld nou nie, ek weet nie.
Sunal is also, what we've done when she realized the substandard quality, we stopped any payment to the consultants. We first want to see credible, compliant spatial development framework before any money is going to be paid to them.
Councillor, I just want to get this clear. We are going to approve the IDP class with existing IDP. That is what is here. So 1 and 2 we are going to approve. I would propose that we approve that.
Speaker, I second that proposal.
Well, we had it already. Okay, dankie collega's, ons is op dieselfde bladsy. En dis goed dat ons dit tog maar debatteer. Ons is tog hier om te debatteer. So kom ons doen dit in goeie gees. Dankie Marius, jy's gelukkig, jy het alles. Dankie collega's.
Thank you very much, Speaker and Councillors. The next item is item 10.2. That is the tabling or the consideration of the final budget of the 23-24 financial year. I'll give over to the CFO just to lead us into this discussion, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the Executive Mayor already gave a very comprehensive introduction in terms of what is contained in the budget. Even what are some of the challenges, especially with electricity, the load shedding. And I can just re-emphasize what the Mayor said. The main focus of the budget is actually for the municipality to approve within our financial sustainability what we can afford and what we can provide. And I know especially the impact on Eskom, the load shedding part, it's not really something that you could have budgeted to the full extent based on the possibilities and that what we can still expect going into the new year. And I think that is actually the one area that I just want to make further emphasis to this council is yes, in terms of our long-term plan, Ratings Africa report to apply good financial discipline with regard to this budget. I think it's one of the things that we have to monitor very closely. And if it really not really come or improve as a result of that, probably we will have to come sooner than later to council to take proactive steps, to again look into our budget and probably have to submit an adjustment earlier so that we don't really run into trouble and waiting only until the mid-year budget assessment. I must say, I think from the municipality side, we really start what the Mayor already alluded to with those where we really had to cut significantly in terms of our current budget to accommodate the load shedding. And we use that actually as a baseline for budgeting into the new year, and we only added additional needs. So really the budget, what is contained in the budget is those that was regarded and prioritized as a necessity for the coming year. So I think those two, that is actually very critical to me. And then I think the second part, where there's a lot of emphasis is about the affordability, especially in terms of our vulnerable group of people, our indigents. We all know, looking at the current economic outlook there, it's not really supporting individual households, increase in interest rates. There are other pressures, food prices, inflation. There's a lot of things that impact in terms of the affordability to pay for services. And I think that is actually the one key aspect within our budget in terms of our assumption that we at least try to maintain a debt collection rate above the 96%. But I think as a result of that, and I think there was a lot of input from the councillors, even the community, is that we have to review our indigent policy, what we indeed did. So there are specific things where we want to see how we can accommodate the people, and seeing that we do get grant funding via the National Fiscus in terms of the equitable share to fund our free basic services. We decided also, especially that vulnerable group, we're not getting 100% on the 50%, is that we will actually, as from the 1st of July, only in terms of your basic charges, try to recover the actual cost, with a maximum of 50% to the current tariff applicable to all other people, just to make it more, I'm going to say affordable to those people, but I think also try to manage our debt, irrecoverable debt at year end, that we can try to manage that as well. So that is actually one of the key things. And I think what the Mayor said, the main emphasis is that we continue to provide services in a sustainable manner, but within our financial capacity. So I'm not really going to go into more detail. I think we had a budget steering committee that we could incorporate into the budget, and that was actually the only changes from the draft budget. What we have submitted is actually to see what we can do, and it's not really that there was additional money available. It's just maybe to reprioritize and move. I think I just want to make reference in terms of the budget report, and once again, apology. I know we provided the detailed report after that discussion to all councillors, but the summarized one with all the tables that supposed to come from the system, yes, it remained a challenge. And even like yesterday, we still had a meeting with Provincial Treasury on the technical side with budget input, and we said, wow, we cannot really further entertain. So what we did is I just noted still, especially on the outer years, some of the formulas, but I can assure Council, in terms of the 23, 24 in the outer years, the budget information, the revenue, the expenditure, what reflected, the capital, all of that information is complete and realistic in terms of what we have proposed to Council for approval. But if Council will just allow us, just for the quality of that document, that we will just look at those formulas that is maybe still not adding. And I think Sean already in process actually just to see that once we draw that final report, that it will give a better reflection, especially in terms of our outer years, to ensure that it's aligned. But other than that, I also just want to say, from the councillors, I think from the onset, we have the understanding that it will be a tough year, from the councillors. I think even the input from the community, the explanation we provided, and I think all the directors and managers and the whole team involved in the budget, we said from the onset, we're honest, and we have to be honest, what are the things that we want to put into the budget? And I think still, if you look at the emphasis, is services, where we spent almost in terms of our capital, close to 90% and more on the capital. So we want to ensure that in terms of our main mandate, we can provide services without any major interruptions, despite the many challenges we might have. So that is all from my side, Mr. Speaker. I don't know whether you want me to go to further to reflect on those pages, but those 10 tables, that is a requirement for council to consider for approval, also reflects in the report, and that is from page 27, item 1.8, you know, that reflect in there.
Thank you, Mr. van der Biljon. Any questions, any comments? I think they did a great job under a lot of pressure, and thanks, Hannes, for that. But it looks like everybody's content. There's a hand. Councillor?
Thank you, Speaker. I wanted to take the opportunity to thank the opposition and the CFO, the opposition for their valuable input during the budget process and the workshop, their willingness to engage in productive dialogue that contributed to a robust and inclusive budget, and to the CFO, Mr. Hannes van Biljon, and Sean, and the whole finance department, a sincere gratitude for preparing a fully funded budget that aligns perfectly with our goals. Thank you for your exceptional work, which has set a shining example for this organization. I propose that we accept this budget.
Thank you, Councillor. There's a second proposer and a seconder. Raadslid Jantjies? Jy seconded die derde ene. 2 seconds and a proposal. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies.
Speaker, as much we second the proposal, and also it raise and also the competence of the opposition, and also the engagement, and also the part of comment that we made. We must not take maybe the community very lightly. The issue of the Masakane policy that we raised so many years that need to be reviewed, and then the governing party was very ignorant, because when it comes to the presentation when they've done in different wards, the community always complain about this thing. So I think maybe to the director that you also listen and also come up with some sort of, but not a solution to the problem. So we're raising that concern, so that we must not take maybe lightly even the comment that we always make, and also the community at large. And those comments that we make as an ANC really shows maybe we care about the people. And also the issue of service delivery is paramount, because must not have the budget, but only certain individuals, certain races also been considered. Refer to other people that they are not even receiving those services. We are going to monitor, and we're not going to maybe be silent. We're going to maybe address this issue as much as the community also at large that they felt how the budget is going to be spent.
Thank you. Formalizing the budget, I know it's not easy, especially in the tough economic times that we are currently in. Also, just to add to what Councillor Mokotwane said regarding the Masikane indigent policy, we would just like to note that we are opposition councillors, we are progressives, and we are here to challenge each other. We cannot just sit silently and accept everything that comes. That's why a battery's got a plus and a minus. So the two need each other to work together. Because if we're going to sit here willingly and just accept everything that comes from the other side, then what are we doing here? Because we are here to fight for our constituencies. So for the other side, we also like to say that they must accept the challenge, because that is what we're here for. Because we need to be robust in order to address the issues of our constituents. So thank you very much to each and everyone for their hard work and for the input that has been that they gave to make this budget a reality. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Matthijssen.
Baie dankie, Speaker. Op ons beurt wil ons ook vir die CFO baie dankie sê en sy span, spesifiek met die budget. As ons kyk na Imbizo wat gegaan het oor die budget, as 99% van ons gemeenskap het maar die kwessie gebring van die Masakane beleid. En om te sien met hoeveel hoe hulle dit voortgebring het, was vir my baie hartroerend. En ek dink op die ou end was dit vir almal so. En ons as die oppositie, dankie dat u ook dan vir ons geluister het na ons, soos ons alles na die tafel gebring het. As wat ons van die gemeenskap ontvang het. En daardeur het u vir ons gewys spesifiek dat u het vasgestaan en u het vir u laat beweeg. Maar deur dit alles, deur te luister na die inputs spesifiek van ons gemeenskap, kon ons sien dat u het 'n hart vir ons gemeenskap en daardie wil ons vir u baie dankie sê.
Dankie Raadslid Matthijssen en ander raadslede. Ek is baie opgewonde oor kom ons bou voort daarop, want ek dink dis baie nodig. So Hannes, jy het 'n hele klompie blomme gekry. En wel verdien so. So doen so voort, dink ek is wat die boodskap vir jou is. Dankie.
No, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I just want to, like I said, I want to acknowledge Sean, and I know his team with their hard work. Thanks.
Ja, Sean en Hannes sê hulle gaan nou 'n lekker glasie wyn drink met al die Ek wil tog nalat, ek wil tog Sean, julle moet tog van my persoonlik oordra vir Joanne Johnson wat regtig opgestaan het voor hy gemeenskappe aan die diepkant ingegooi was en hy het regtig, hy was 'n ster in die hele proses. Sê vir hom ook net baie dankie. Account Development Framework. So 10.4 is to do with the updated long-term financial plan that is consolidated by INCA, and it is based on the 2021-22 pre-audited financial statements. So CFO, can you maybe just take us into this discussion as well, please?
Yeah. Thank you for that, Mr. Speaker. I think there was a little bit delay in terms of final preparation of the long-term financial plan. Because already during December or during the mid-year try doing by this is also seeing if this is a long-term plan to also to include that risk in the plan. Although our financial results as the previous year is quite good in terms of our finances still sound, most of the ratios is positive, indicating that the municipality will be able to deliver in terms and to support whatever initiative to that one. But there are definitely certain concerns raised, and I think one of the concerns raised especially is on our capital expenditure. You know, we look how much money we still, in terms of our capital mix of funding, is still from our internal reserves. A little bit of pressure on the municipality. You know, in terms of our borrowing, we still have capacity, but I think what we need to do is just to prioritize and to make sure that if we utilize that funding. But the emphasis of this report is like that golden thread, you know, financial discipline, you know, how we manage, and I think what I've indicated already, I know it's one of the points that's close to the mayor's heart in terms of how we manage and monitor this, that is our debt collection. You know, we cannot really slip on this, despite the challenges. And unfortunately, we will have to try to keep up with the 96%, you know, to ensure at least that we recover the money that is needed for us to do what is reflecting in our budget. And then also, I think in terms of the report, they just reflected on some of the issues, you know, in terms of the rate sensitivity. When we're looking at the load shedding, based on this, according to them, the municipality will still be able to manage that. But the moment if it go beyond and even higher, what we currently experience on stage 6 and all of that, it might have a serious impact, you know, and that's what I'm indicating by mid-year, try to assess. Now, there's also key things that is highlighted in that, and it is still, despite where we're currently reflecting with our collection rate at 97% for the year to date, it's still to try to increase or to keep it at least the level of the collection rate. Is also what is contained in this policy is to say that we need to look into reducing our expenditure. To some extent, we said, but we need to look and still cut back in terms of our expenditure. And I must say what we have just discussed now in the budget, we try to cut those non-priority areas within our budget. Then also what they're looking at is increasing tariff hikes. Is that if it will remain on stage 6 or even higher, and hopefully there's light in the tunnel by coming towards the end of the year, maybe going into the new year. But at least that we're looking to cover all those additional costs by additional 2%. Already in this budget, although we still more or less in line with the CPIX on average of 6.9, our tariffs vary between the 6 to 7%, to cover for that, to cover those additional costs. And I think then also as reducing the CAPEX programs and the usage of own funds. And I think that is the key. We already now with the water services, where that 6 liter free, where we really start to cut down to lessen the impact and to protect ourselves. But yeah, those are the key things, that they said that you need to look at. And also I think in terms of that, what they've indicated in that report is to say, if we maintain, is surely that we need to look at our expenditure, our CAPEX, and to make sure that we still keep it and manage it, within the impact of the load shedding. So I think it's a very comprehensive report. I think from our side, normally, that is our directive, although we try to keep it simple and to have understanding. But I think at least if we adhere to this and to protect our own, finances and all of that, I think we're up for a challenge, but I believe we know at least what to do. En
bly jy sê wat jy nou gesê het, want dis die een dokument wat ek elke jaar uitdruk op my lesenaar hou, want dis 'n barometer. En as jy goeie ingeligte konsultante soos hierdie gebruik, dan sal jy dom wees as jy nie die insette wat hulle gee agslaan op nie. En ek dink dis wat ek opgetel het oor wat jy nou ook gesê het met die 2%, ek meen dit staan baie duidelik hier, boek aan CPI, dis doodreg. Maar ook al hierdie ander goed wat hulle vooraf uitwys, want dis 'n strategiese dokument, die is 10 jaar vooruit. So as ons dit ignoreer, het ons moeilikheid. En ek is baie tevrede om te sê dit wat ek optel in die begroting en koppel met die rigting wat hierdie mense vir ons in waarsku. Die caveat is die load shedding. Ons het nie 'n koek en klou wat kan gebeur nie, ons hoop. En die burgemeester se aankondiging van, addisionele krag, dit is 'n lig in die tonnel vir ons, en dis nie 'n trein nie. Dit is wonderlik as ons daai geleentheid kan kry. Maar dat beurtkrag vir die mense en inflasie en alles en die verstygings in rentekoerse en ons gaan 'n donker tyd binne. So gebruik hierdie as 'n barometer. Ek stel voor elke raadslid het 'n kopie hiervan op sy tafel, want dit is wat vir ons die rigting aandui. Dankie Hannes, dis al wat ek wil sê. Raadslid Jantjies?
Ja, dankie Speaker. Ek stem saam Speaker. Ons het al ook insette gegee en ek dink ons is almal het eens dat ons wil fondse wat verskillig is aan die raad, moet ons probeer en ons gaan dit ook noem tot dit geskied. En dit is ons ook die buitelanders laat betaal vir die dienste goed wat hulle hier gebruik. Ons moet 'n plan in plek sit. En ek meen as ons so 'n plan in plek sit, dan kan ek vir u verseker dat ons by een van die raadvergaderings nie 'n bronstoekenning sal kry nie, maar goue toekenning sal kry vir die munisipaliteit wat so iets doen. Daar is maniere dat ons mense nie die alleen die verantwoordelikheid moet dra. En hier's mense wat dienste goed kry wat geen die probleem is hulle kry gratis dienste, maar hulle dra geen bydrae by nie. Hoekom? Om die munisipaliteit doen niks. En ons wil net hê dat die munisipaliteit moet 'n pad in huise goed bly waar die munisipaliteit subsidieer, waar die munisipaliteit nie van weet nie. So dit is onaanvaarbaar vir die gemeenskap daar buitekant, dat hulle alleen die verantwoordelikheid moet dra vir dienste. Goed, baie dankie.
En die direkteure moet kennis neem daarvan, want dit is 'n lekker uitdaging, maar kan dalk 'n lekker inkomste ook bring. Maklike ene is dit nie, maar ek meen jy's reg, daar's vir alles is daar 'n moontlikheid. So, dankie daarvoor collega's. MM?
Yeah, so I think Marius, we've got on page 14, the management recommendation has been accepted. 10.5, strategic risk register. Dis die verslag wat ons elke maand na die raad toe bring tot aan met die einde van die finansiële jaar, where we've identified strategic risks of the municipality, and each department just have to indicate what are being done in order to alleviate the impact of such strategic risks. The content is from page 16 to 18. It's gone through the various committees, and there's a recommendation from the mayoral committee of the 23rd of May that the 22-23 strategic risk and action responses for Q3 be noted, that all municipal risks be treated with intelligence and greater determination in reducing these risks, and that the municipal manager with his team encourage innovation in combating all the risk factors. So that is the recommendation that came from the MACO, and is now put before council for approval.
Comments?
Baie dankie speaker. Ek sien net op bladsy 15 by xenophobia attacks. En ek dink raadslid Lou het dit aan mekaar genoem dat ons moet daarby byvoeg ook die boendehowe wat nou besig is om pos te vat in ons gemeenskap.
Dankie raadslid, ons teken dit aan. Het hom so meneer Moelig? Goed, dankie collega's.
10.6 has got to do with the Cape Agulhas Municipal Energy Resilience Strategy. I think all municipalities impact of load shedding, and we need to come up with a strategy to be less reliant on Eskom for the provision of energy. And that is why our electrical department under the leadership of Steve Cooper consulted widely and developed energy resilience strategy for Cape Agulhas municipality, which is incorporated into this agenda from the council approved the energy resilience strategy for Cape Agulhas municipality.
Voorstel. Dankie burgemeester. Wil jy?
Speaker, ja, ek wil 'n voorstel, maar ek wil net vra op die vorige een ook. Ek wil net duidelikheid kry dat daar was nie 'n voorstel as sekondant vir een of twee nie. Die vorige een was nie 'n voorstel as sekondant nie. Is dit dan dat dit nutuleer maar dis net vir future dat iemand nie sê ek was nie deel van die besluit nie. Daar voorstelle sekondant is duidelik, die naam en die van of die naam en die sekondant gegee word. En as daar enige teenvoorstel is, dit.
Ja, is doodreg. Ons het aanvaar as konsensus deur almal, maar ons kan 'n voorsteller vra. Is daar 'n voorsteller?
Ek sal voorstel op 10.5 dat ons dit so aanvaar.
Dankie raadslid Eksteen, is sekondant. Dankie onderburgemeester, ons het hom so.
Propose the 10.6.
10.6 voorsteller is burgemeester en raadslid Eksteen sekondeer. Ons notuleer hom so, baie dankie.
Ja.
10.7 has to do with the implementation of feeding schemes. You will, councillors will know that every year we make funding indicated what the funding for this or the remaining of the financial year it's available is 170,000, and that 170,000 have been divided amongst the, I think it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 NPOs that has put up their hands to provide food and nutrition for people that needs it most, and the breakdown per each of those feeding schemes is on page 20 to 21, and the management recommendation is on page 22 that council approve the funding allocation to these organizations, obviously with the proviso that they provide transparent financial management and also report back to council on the utilization of such funds. That has gone through the Management Services Committee as well as the MACO, who also supported the management.
By dit aan. Ek sal graag wil hê dat ons net 2 teruggaan tot volgende nou 3 maande se geld gee en die mense gebruik die geld op, dan sit ons volgende jaar Junie maand sonder enige fondse om die sop te bysit. Dis net 'n voorstel wat ek wil hê.
Meneer Van Biljon.
Nee, spreker, ja, as ek dalk net kan noem, iemand in gedagte, ons boekjaar sluit ons nou Junie. So indien ons nie die gelde wat nou beskikbaar is benut nie, beteken dan verbeur ons dit. So, en ek dink in die nuwe begroting het ons weer voorsiening gemaak vir die buitejaar. So, enige besparing wat nou nie gaan benut word by einde Junie, beteken dit gaan verbeur word en dit kan nie oorgedra word nie.
Wat ek bedoel is dat die geld wat ons nou begroot, is vir die nuwe finansiële jaar. En ek wil hê vir die nuwe finansiële jaar dat ons die geld gebruik vir 2 maande oorbetaal vir Julie en Augustus en dan Junie maand volgende jaar die 3de betaling maak, want ons voorsien vir 3 keer hierso. Dan is vir daai 2 en dan die ander vir die 3de jaar. Dat is my voorstel.
Daar was 'n reëling vroeër, ja, dit wat raadse nie wat te voorstel, daar was so 'n reëling gewees in 2018-19 wat gemaak was. Maar Luzet het ook haar insette gelewer tydens die IBK dat sê dat die 3 maande geld oorbetaal word tot in hierdie huidige boekjaar is en dat daar 'n brief uitgaan na hierdie NGO's dat seker te maak dat dit jy weet 'n maand se geld probeer hou vir die volgende vir June maand. Maar soos ek dit ons met ander weë vind, ek probeer ook nou deur die ander befondsing kyk, want ek meen ons gee geld vir 3 maande, maar as ek sien die lang rye van mense wat elke maand daar staan, en dis nie net die wintertyd wat mense honger, dit is mense wat hierdie jaar honger is. Ons moet erns met 'n oplossing daarby kom. Dankie, voorsitter.
Dankie. Speaker, thank you very much. I think this is something that I've mentioned and I would really like it to be noted, is that we should have a strategy for the soup kitchens within Cape Agulhas, for all of them, because currently they're not working together. And also to allude to what the mayor has said is that the soup kitchens are struggling because they're all relying on one source of funding or one organization to fund. And if that organization at the end of the day cease to exist, they also cease to exist. And that's what we're currently seeing. So my suggestion is that we should have a workshop in partnership with all of the soup kitchens in Cape Agulhas so that we can come up with a strategy in terms of how they're going to fund themselves in future. And it should also look at in terms of making certain land available where they can grow crops together in order to sustain themselves. In the surplus they can sell or they can keep for their organization. So I definitely think we're going to have the same situation every year. And I think I've mentioned the suggestion last year. If we don't do that, we're going to have the same problem. So we need to start, and I would really like to suggest that from the Human Development Department, that they set up such a workshop so that we can engage with them, get some ideas from them, and set up a strategy, and that strategy can then serve as a benchmark for the future and how we can make them self-sufficient, because it's not the model that we're currently using, Speaker. It's not going to work. We're going to struggle, and they're going to keep relying on the municipality for funding. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Meneer Moelie, het jy hom so? Dankie. Oscar, jou hand is op.
Dankie, voorsitter. Not a spanner in the works, maar ek sal my opinie is dat ons ook moet kyk na ons homeless community in Cape Agulhas, waar die homeless people as a community op hulle eie, en ons moet kyk hoe dat ons soos byvoorbeeld stad Kaapstad spesifiek fokus ook op hierdie gemeenskap, want daardie gemeenskap gaan nie noodwendig uitkom na plekke onder by waar die geld beskikbaar is. Hulle is meestal gekonsentreer in spesifieke gebiede as ons net daarna toe kan kyk in die toekoms.
Goed, ek dink meneer Moelie, jy sal maar net daai notaatjie bysit dan dat daar mag gekyk word dan in die strategie wat ons dan ook probeer opstel saam met menslike ontwikkeling, is dit ook 'n gedagte. Goed collega's, waar is ons nou? Ek soek nou 'n voorsteller en 'n sekondant. Raadsheer Jantjie stel voor en onderburgemeester sekondeer. Daar het ons vrede gemaak tussen hulle twee, hoe kan jy dit glo? Dankie collega's.
10.8. Item 10.8 has to do with the terms of reference for the Cape Agulhas Local Drug Action Committee, commonly referred to as LDAC. I think councillors will be aware we established an LDAC committee as in the office of the executive mayor, which has rolled out some programs already, and it's really a vibrant committee, and they really want to make an impact in terms of drug abuse within our communities. So from the municipality side, we've now engaged into or want to draw up a terms of reference, and the terms of reference is incorporated in this agenda from page 26 to 29. So the recommendation is on page 23, and that is that council approves the terms of reference for the local drug action committee in Cape Agulhas municipality.
Julle het hom gelees, julle het hom uitmekaar uitgetrek en ons hom voorstel, as 'n voorsteller burgemeester en as Councillor Donald sekondeer.
Okay, then 10.9 is the approval of a memorandum of understanding, MOU, between Hope Revolution and Cape Agulhas municipality. Now, Hope Revolution is an organization. I think they're currently based in Cape Town, but they're also doing significant work in the communities within Cape Agulhas municipality. And there's just an attempt from our Human Development Department to make sure that there's a proper MOU between the municipality and Hope Revolution. Now, you will note from the content of the discussion that Hope Revolution is currently being financed by Emsterlinks, which I believe is the corporate social investment arm of BTE Renewals. BTE is the wind farm on the Swellen Dam Road, and they are working quite closely with Cape Agulhas municipality and also Hope Revolution to roll out a number of human development programs in our area. I think currently they have received funding from Emsterlinks, which they are already rolling out programs, human development and social development programs within the municipality. And they're working also quite closely with our human development department in this regard. And that is why the recommendation is on page 24, that council approves the MOU between the organization Hope Revolution and Cape Agulhas municipality for partnering in the rollout of specifically substance abuse intervention programs. And also there's the rest of the management recommendations on page 24.
Raadse Jantjies.
Ja, Speaker, ek dink is dis 'n baie goeie organisasie en 'n goeie werk. Ons het dit nodig hier in ons streek. Nou, ons moet ook net kyk dat ons dit reg doen. Ek wil dit voorstel, maar die MOU, maar nie nou nie. Ons moet eers seker maak dat alle by social development ook natuurlik goedkeuring gekry het vir Cape Agulhas en dan die MOU nie agterse voorop nie. So ek het geen probleem daarmee want ek sien hulle is in 'n proses, laat hulle net die dokumentasie vir ons voorlê, laat hulle is.
Goed, stel jy voor dat ons dit nou aanvaar, maar dat administrasie net die dokumente kry om dit te finaliseer.
Social development moet dit eers goedkeur, hulle hier in Cape Agulhas ook.
Okay, so ons
Hulle het aansoek gedoen en dan teken ons die MOU.
Ek het hom so, kommentare? Ek het hom so.
Sal dit sekondeer.
Present.
Speaker.
Speaker.
Yeah, Speaker, I would like to agree with what Alderman Jantjies has said regarding the MOU. I think it's a good initiative. We know the organization. We also know that they're fairly new to the area in the work that they have done. And this is with no ulterior motive. This is not directed at Hope Revolution whatsoever. But there's been a culture within Cape Agulhas where there are currently existing organizations that are working here and they don't get support. Similar processes have been followed in the past where MOUs have been submitted, meetings have been set up between the mayor or the mayor's office, people have been invited, but it hasn't been honored. And it shows that obviously we do things according to political lines and political affiliations. So for an example, in MOU, we need also as the councillors, we need to see the MOU because obviously what does it entail? What is the responsibility of the municipality and what's the responsibility of the organization that is applying for this? That's crucial because there might contain some things that we might not agree with, Speaker. And that's a very important point. The second point, when you're working, when it comes to the NPO Act, that you know you are complying with all of these certain conditions. Secondly, when you're working with young people, especially under the age of 16, with regarding you need to have a police clearance to ensure that you are cleared by working with kids. You have no sexual background, so forth. You understand? These are the type of things that we need to take into consideration before signing an MOU or before taking on an MOU. And because we want to be very clear what we're letting ourselves in for. We know that people are doing good work, Speaker. They're doing, and we would also like to meet the organization because they're going to be working with our kids. Speaker of Cape Agulhas, we need to know who are the people, who's going to be working, what the programs will look like, and we need to make sure exactly what contributions the municipality will give to this organization. So yeah, that is my input regarding this. So I don't support agreeing to it now, Speaker. I definitely think because of the points that I've made, we need to ensure that we are all covered by all of these things. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Burgemeester.
Voorzitter, ons moet net the first group who are busy in Bredasdorp is a part of a program of Hope Revolution. The Sons of God are part of a program of Hope Revolution. Now, Hope Revolution is worldwide. They are in all countries with this organization in the Western Cape. Hope Revolution is die werk wat hulle doen het ons erken wat hulle gekry het. Die geld vir opleiding is deur my kantoor geonderhandel met Betty vir opleiding, nie vir Hope Revolution nie, maar vir ons eie gemeenskap in een sekant om het te ran. So, om hierdie projek te ondersteun ek dat ons 'n MOU ten volle ondersteun met Hope Revolution. Ons kan nog elke keer as raad met die Sons of God vergader het en vir hulle, want hulle vra ons moet met hulle saamwerk en hulle met ons saamwerk en dit gebeur. En die wonderlike werk wat ons doen het die afgelope maande, kerkgroepe, en die oproep was dat die geestelike leiers die munisipaliteit help, want dit is 'n groeiende demoon in ons gemeenskappe, die misbruik van dwelms. En ons kan nie een dag, een klip die munisipale bestuur 'n paar maande gerig het, how do we address the growing rate of poverty in our communities? Maar daar's ook 'n uitroep in ons gemeenskap in vergaderings wat ek bywoon, waar ouers vra, wat kan die munisipaliteit maak? Burgemeester, wat kan jy help om die demoon in my huis te help beveg? En dit is die jong mense wat verslaaf is aan dwelms. En dit is een uitkoms. En almal van ons, die munisipaliteit, ons kerkdenominasies, Hope Revolution en Sons of God, sal almal moet saamwerk om hierdie demoon ons gemeenskappe aan te spreek.
Ja, ek dink daar is 'n enkel persoon wat daarteen wat nie daarmee saamstem nie. Ek dink daar het ons konsensus oor. Wil jy iets byvoeg?
Ja, soos ek sê, ja, ons wil almal ons jeug moet gehelp word en dat drugs en dwelms is 'n eel in ons gemeenskappe. Maar vir so lank bestaan dit 5 jaar en in Bredasdorp was daar nog nooit 'n organisasie goed genoeg beveilig het of laat hulle net, as hoe kan ek nou sê, laat hulle net hulle bewyse kan het, laat hulle 'n company is of gestig het. Meneer die burgemeester, u weet seker dat Hope Revolution was vir 'n tyd tot hulle nou die huis koop daar wat hulle nou in bly, was hulle gereid. Die polisie het hulle as gemeenskap het dit nodig, maar my ding is die persone is skaars 'n jaar in die dorp en Hope Revolution, ons het geen geskied, ons weet nie waar kom dit vandaan nie. En daar's nog iets wat ek wil sê wat my nog as pla, 'n jong man in my wijk het gegaan want hy het hulp nodig tot by Hope Revolution en hy het nie werk, sy ouers werk nie tans nie, maar wat hy geld het hy en 'n R2000 'n maand. So is dit 'n benefit vir ons gemeenskap wat niks het nie. Verstaan nie?
Burgemeester
ons het al sulke gevalle gehad. Ek dink ons verstaan dit nie. Ons het gesê daar's hoop op binne die grense van Cape Agulhas. Ons kinders moes in die verlede, en ek meen die LDEC program was in die eerste termyn uitgedra. Van ons mense was hierso by wat is dit hierso gaan spaai gegaan en opleiding gehad, hulle gaan vir sessies vir dinge dit was gedeel, maar daar was nie werklik waar dryf iemand wat verantwoordelik wil aanvaar nie. Hope Revolution is hierso. Ek wil baie graag dat die MOU met Hope Revolution aangaan en sodat die programme aan die raad kan verduidelik en Hope en die Sons of God as deel daarvan maak. Enige kind, enigeen van ons, en ek ben deel van my eie familie ook al, as ons moes gaan hulp soek het vir rehabilitasie, moes ons buite die grens van Kapagallas gaan. En is 'n fonds aan betrokke. Maar dit is die dryf rondom die LDEC. Ons het nou weer 2 uur 'n vergadering na die raadsvergadering met LDEC bestuur. En dit is die fondse wat ek as burgemeester graag wil soek onder die LDEC program. Ouers wat nie kan bekostig om hulle kinders te hê, om kinders te subsidieer. Almal was uitgenooi toe die Hope Revolution aan die gemeenskap bekendgestel was in die toesighoudende nou so 'n maand, 2 maande te. Dit was 'n groot funksie, die minister was, almal was uitgenooi. So dit is vir my snaaks dat ons sê dat ons weet nie, ons ken nie vir Hope Revolution nie. En ons ken nie, the Sons of God het 'n groot impak gehad hier in Wijk 3, hulle is nou 'n huis waar hulle meer geformaliseer is. So voorsitter, ek wil vandag aanvaar. Thank you.
Paar hande op.
The mayor's misunderstanding us. We're not saying about the work that they're doing. We are saying that we need to know who are these people, because they're coming to work with our kids. If you have a child speaker and there comes a boy into your house, are you just going to let him date your daughter? You're going to ask him, hey, who's your parents? Where did you grow up? What have you done? You need to get background of the person that is going to come into your house. And currently what we're saying is that we allow anyone in. We've had this before. Things, and then once the funding dries up, and then the people leave. And this is the thing that we've been saying also, and that's why some of the times the community doesn't trust the municipality, because we come in with programs to them sometimes that they don't want, or that they haven't agreed to, or they don't know the ins and outs of the program. That is what we are saying. All we're saying is that before we approve this MOU, let us sit with the people, let us scrutinize the MOU so that we can also give our inputs. You cannot approve something and then you want us to engage with the people afterwards. Alderman Yankee says always you can't die kar voor die donkie inspan nie. And that's what we're trying to do. All we're saying is that let's not approve this now. Let's give an opportunity for us to scrutinize the MOU. Let's meet the people so that we as opposition councillors can also have an opportunity. That is the concern that we have. We don't have an issue. The people can do the work, but we must make sure if we're signing an MOU, we must know what does the MOU entail? Because like I said, in the past, we've had MOUs. We've had people bring money and funding here, but it was rejected. So why are we rushing to get this MOU signed so that we can start to work? And there are also organizations that have been doing this, but they've been ignored in the past. And that is what we are saying. We want to be fair. When it comes to these type of things, Speaker. That is all. Thank you.
Dat ons net nou 'n voorstel maak dat ons net eers dit agteruit sit. En wat my concern is nou onwettig en dat 'n moord plaasgevind. En in ons gemeenskap is die baie omstredenheid en ontevredenheid oor spesifiek die Sons of God. En ek dink ons moet maar eers luister en ons moet teruggaan na ons gemeenskappe toe. En ons kan nie nou 'n oningeligte besluit neem deur die MOU te teken. En daar was al 'n versoek gerig van die oppositie om die mense te laat kom hiernatoe vir 'n komitee-vergadering hier sal wees. En hulle het nie gekom nie. So ons het ook vrae wat ons vir hulle wil vra. Ons het ook insette wat ons wil gee. So ons wil volstaan
dat jy hier is.
Yes. As dit nou ek of
Laat ons net eers te praat, Speaker. Laat ons net eers te praat.
die MOU verwys spesifiek net na Hope Revolution, nee, vir funding wat hulle gekry het vanaf om nog mense op te lei. So daai spesifieke MOU is slegs met Hope Revolution.
Raadslid Lou se concern in terme van die mense moet scrutinise word, dankie. Maar ons praat nie nou van die mense hierso nie. Ons praat nou van hulle is nie net plaaslik geakkrediteer nie, hulle is ook internasionaal geakkrediteer, 38 lande binne in Afrika alleenlik. Maar wat ek graag wil sê en daar 'n patent maak is die feit dat Môre is te laat aan mense wat dwelm verslaafd is. Ja, daar is geld betrokke in terme van rehabilitasie, maar daar is ook waar die mense ook. En ek dink ons as 'n raad gee om as vir ons gemeenskap. Dis hoekom ons sit en redekabel en redeneer oor die welstand van ons gemeenskappe. Ons self sal wil help om daai mense te subsidieer wanneer hulle gaan vir rehabilitasie. Dis wat ons wil doen. So ek sal voorheen en ondersteun die burgemeester se voorstel en my eie voorstel sodat die mense kan begin te werk. Hulle werk al reeds sonder MOU. Dankie.
We have concerns. In our ward, we received an application. If you are a registered NGO, it's a legal entity, you operate in your name. Like Cape Agulhas has got a business account, a municipal account in the name of Cape Agulhas municipality. We received an application from the same organization to apply for a piece of land, and the banking details was an individual's name and not in the name that was written on the application. If you have, because I'm not going to be part of the decision that we make here today, Speaker, and then when it comes back and they say that the council approved this thing, and I want to make it very clear that I'm not putting my signature there. I'm the only thing, allow us in. Why are we being kept out? What are we hiding? Why are we not being allowed into question, to engage with these organizations? We're not saying we know them, and we're not attacking individuals here. We're not attacking the members. We are questioning the organization, and we are questioning, we just
Kan ons stilte kry? Oor na jou toe.
Yes, thank you very much, Speaker. We now at the next item on the agenda. It's item number 10.10. And that is a letter of intent for a strategic partnership between Regenerative Neighborhood Development Agency, RNDA, and Cape Agulhas Municipality. Just to give you some background, which indicated they have got a number of people to roll out 56 per person for 25 people, which we can, unemployed people, we can identify and recruit and make them part of the program so they put more on the program itself.
Okay. So the current status, thank you MM for giving the background. So the current status of after school programs in food security from this, and they said they are keen, they are willing to partner with RNDA and the municipality on these projects. So the final after school programs will be just with the recruitment of part. There we see the different comments from the CFO and other colleagues. Where's my other thing? Departments is that council approves the municipal manager be delegated to conclude a MOU between CAM and Regenerative Neighborhood Development Agency.
Just speaking, just the questions, yeah. So how will they then divide these people across Cape Agulhas? Because obviously we've got 6 wards and all of the facilities are available in the different wards except, yeah. So just in that regard, how will the program be divided so that everyone can benefit from the program?
It's just from March.
Okay.
And for future purposes, if they're funding, then we're going to look into the other wards, provided those, like they do have a after school program running, because we don't want to start something and then it falls flat. So we're going to partner with, like, replicate specifically the food garden project. We can replicate it on the same basis that
but I don't think they are very good examples of some of these programs that need to be replicated, because if their goal is to establish 5 food gardens per month, house don't want to, it's because of space. There's not because some of the people with a specific target mark, because sometimes when you get to council now we have to approve something that we know that it's going to go in one direction. So that is just my input regarding that. Thank you very much, Kusek.
Thanks, Councillor. Enigiemand iets byvoeg, andersins soek 'n voorsteller en 'n sekondant. Ek het 'n voorsteller in die onderburgemeester en ek het 'n sekondant in raadsheer Nieuwoud. Kom maar voortgaan, dankie.
Okay, thank you. One stage, I think our housing, putting up incremental housing centers in each of the wards. What the councillors at that stage put, okay, it's good. It's in terms of to support the rollout provincial and national centers. So I think this is the first step that is going to happen. This feasibility study is going to be presented to the colleagues at the municipality on an annual basis. Marius, ek weet nie of jy enigiets het wil byvoeg daar.
Nee, meneer munisipale bestuurder, the total, that's over 2 years will assist us with that cost in the next financial year.
So, Speaker, at this point in time, it's only for council to note that we have concluded the feasibility study in this aspect. So we're first going to approach the Department of Human Settlements. And if they say no and there's some cost implications for us as a municipality and we want to proceed with this initiative, then we will.
For people that for an example, if you want to build a house, but you don't know what the costing, the measurements, how much sand your department won't be able to give you. So if we're talking also about alternative housing, and I think this is what's important, because I'm aware of what it's about. So I think it's a good idea. Thank you.
It is incumbent upon council to go into a new financial year, and the human settlement plan, or the draft human settlement plan, has been incorporated area. How does our pipeline looks like? What is the funding that is that we got for the 22-23 financial year, the 23-24 financial year, and then obviously beyond the human settlement plan, in order to also just submit anymore?
Councillors, comments? Burgemeester, is you right? Ek het 'n voorsteller.
But Dennis, ek dink on a regular basis with our communities. But in place of that, we've put the committees in each and every community where on this one, that we my part of this one, the human settlement plan, is the alternative building solutions. We all know of the houses that have been built there, the 30 houses that we're selling, the 40 square meter houses for foreign, and there is other solution where we can, a bigger house we can sell cheaper, other alternatives. So we just make, sure that that is part.
Councillor Eksteen, thank you.
This one has to do with the informal settlement management plan. I know there was managed. It's obviously not informal settlements, while informal settlements out there, 3 years that are located straight by. There are people in place, very significant input that came from the council that is how we incorporated in the amended plan. This is why the amended plan is now being
Proposer? Meyer?
But what I said, Speaker, is that, it's also, I address it to the municipal and the directors, is that, a plan is.
Meyer to propose. And
wage increase for the period of 1st July, also negotiated terms of the new agreement between organized labor and the employer representative. So this is recommended by Southern. So you will see.
Julle het dit almal gelees. Julle weet wat die inhoud is. So Hannes, wil jy iets sê?
Of course, if you look at the budget, it's not 100% correct. There's no way that our salary bill is only 36 million rand. So I don't know where that information, but I apologize.
Do we have a proposal?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I think that this policy is actually more just like a framework. Of course, there's a lot of policy that will speak to the remuneration policy. So it's actually just how can I put a consolidated information to say what our remuneration policy is to other kind of policy.
Thank you, MM. All right, but then I need a proposer. Yeah, thank you. Councillors, can we accept? If so, can I get a proposer? Councillor Donald.
One aspect, and that is how we can see to enhance
staff within the finance department.
There is that we further investigate. So now my proposal is that we enhance the debt collection processes with the.
Okay. By Council.
To understand what currency represent to get all the money in as what is owed to Cape Agulhas municipality. All right, thanks.
Thanks, but I still need a proposer and a seconder.
No, I'm not gonna. I was expecting the MEC just maybe to say what is it, than be done. So thank you very much, maybe MM for that. But we needed to have maybe that report made from us, but what
Well, we all read, you all read it, so it's good.
Speaker, but I would just add something there with the recommendations, that we communicate this out,
put on auction, where 2619 council resolution has been incurred apart from the, I think it's the commission that has been paid to the auctioneer already. Okay, so Marius, ek weet nie of jy enigiets wil byvoeg.
just upon this whole report references, with all the other auction, the Indian Finance Portfolio Committee. So we don't want to hold back any money. So
Can we get a proposal? Thank you, Councillor Exton, and the seconder.
Extension of a temporary, let me put it like that, I think council on a portion of the guys in June now, Abram, somewhere in werk klaar gedoen. Maar wat nou gebeur before council, and I think Abram will be able to elaborate a little bit more on this, that they also want to come and speak to, obviously they have station and regulations and make sure that all statutory processes are being followed in terms of that, because the...
Ja, voorsitter, dit is die probleem met die mense, dit is dieselfde met ander organisasies wat aansoek doen by hierdie raad, hulle sien hoe pap is ons. Maar dit is heeltemal 'n ander gedeelte daar. Kan nie die mense gaan mislei met voet.
Speaker, ek weet nie hoe kom nog nie 'n versoek dat oprigting van die stoor. Dit is nou hier voor ons om toestemming te gee vir 'n verlenging. Dit is al wat ons oor moet besluit.
Verlenging teen 'n goeie inkomste.
Goed, dis ja. Nee, stem 100%, because at the end of the day you will see it will be extended. In the end of the day you will find an offer on the table. And then we're going to have this conversation again, and we just need to take cognizance of
you. Can we get
now, Speaker? Are you sure? Okay. No, Speaker. So I'm also reluctant just to support for the meaning of support. But what benefits that maybe that the community of accommodation, but at the end of the how do we empower time, we bring you
community because of not only to stress but
hierdie volgende noem ek, né? Want LED department was die verantwoordelike departement om talks met Kokadu. Hy word deur die aanbied van hierdie programme as 'n werksgeleenthede geskep vir die jeug, actually vir almal, né? Ons toeriste talle wat uit die aard van die saak ook sal skep, want toerisme is een van die sleutel vir Kaapstad toe ons gepraat het met Kokadu en dis hoekom hulle uiteindelik hierso is, net daai reg te stel as wil.
Ons steun dit van die begin af, ons ondersteun dit tot nou toe. Daar is geen twyfel nie. Ek weet nie wat dit is nie. Al wat ons sê is, daar moet nie verskeie agendas wees. Dit is waar ons nou is en niks anders te nie.
Ekskuus? Dis reg. Het ons 'n voorstel?
Part 3, the minutes of the impact meetings is incorporated in the agenda. Bladsy 77 tot 78, and the recommendation from MPEC 31st is the reviewed and amended. CFO, is there anything you want to highlight in the report?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think what is important to normally give input in terms of our policy. And I know there are specific categories, you know, how they define what is prescribed in the Act. And so I think the bulk of this is actually just to review those categories and to align it to what is in the legislation will provide. So that is actually more based on recommendation, and it's actually standard practice every year that they review our policy. In bulk, there's no major changes. It's only for those categories and then the rebates and the discounts.
Thanks, the Mayor. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks again, for impact in terms of our budgeting. And I think what we actually did was just to highlight some of the issues. I know there was a request to increase the value of 200,000 to 300 will be the impact of that addition on the 250. It's increased from the previous year. And then the other one of the major things was the previous policy from Mr. Jantjies at the stage was, if we talk indigent household, we aware that there are some of these households to qualify for indigent, but they have foreigners and other people also staying there for business purposes. So what we actually did through this, it means it's a family who are jointly living on the stand. We'll request that information. Who are the people staying on the premises, but we will only, in terms of the key things, then also additional categories of those people what we have indicated as vulnerable. We included now a household that houses a person with disability, and we will treat them on the same basis. And then also we did here specifically to be regarded under the category of property rights as 100% rebate or 20%. On the basic charges, which wasn't the case previously. And then also, I think what we have in place it free of charge with a prepaid meter so that we can actually try to minimize the impact on the usage on that one. And also what we pick up our water management and to ensure that that is there. And the last one that what I said is actually one of the biggest impact is that all those basic charges, we will only levy them based on actual. And I think what we also said is actually then it's important that we try to monitor and to manage these a better benefit and will limit some of the outstanding debt, in terms of our credit control, how we will manage it.
Speaker, dankie. Speaker, ek moet net so 'n bietjie onduidelik vir my kan kry, maar na beseer dat hulle moet.
It's 20%, but they will maintain with that. And what we stated in the previous one, the moment if they have to apply through the same process. But Councillor Jantjies is 100% correct. That in those instances.
Burgemeester.
Speaker, nadat die raad dit dan goed jy weet op
8.4 sê dat daar werkswinkel gehou moet.
Ek voel dat as die raad soos uit maande gelede het ek vir die so hierdie jy weet eenpare goed te keer te kry. Thank you.
Ek het hom so, Marius, implikasie beteken dit jy weet haal net die werkswinkel gedeelte uit as so ons het okay, maar het is nou 'n voorsteller en 'n sekondant.
The speaker, are we seconding to adopt the policy or for the
Councillor Lou en
Meneer die speaker, dis nou maalweg gevraag word van die vloer af again.
Thanks, Mr. Imam. I think the tariff policy, we do have the approved tariff that is part of the municipality applied. So there was actually no changes to that. All what we did was actually just to update it and to align it to the same standard as the others. Now this two policies is in Afrikaans, so yeah, we will have to translate to the English and to the other language. But then the credit control debt collection one. It's the same like any changes to the credit control, you have to look at in terms of your bylaw to change your bylaw as well. Now, this policy does prescribe the municipality if there's any cost or administrative cost relating to collection of any outstanding debt, you can change it. Because otherwise, if you made certain changes to this policy, it might impact in the legality in terms of apply that. And that is what gives you actually, when you have to appear in court or people opposed to that, that you be able to provide that kind of information. As said, through our enhancements, we will improve on our processes, but this is the framework that allow you to do that. So it's the same with this one. There was, and maybe just to update it and, like I said, to get it on the same standard as most of the other policies.
I got it like that, and the same question applies. You talk about a workshop, is it necessary or not? It's not necessary, so workshop. Alderman
Items on the agenda. As niks, as geen sake van myself as munisipale bestuurder nie. 12.
Point number 12, oorweging van moties, geen. Oor 13, oorweging van kennis van vrae, geen.
Is van implementering, is vir kennisname aan die raad oorgehou.
Goed, dan gaan ons nou oor na ons in-komitee vergadering, wat by implikasie beteken ons groet diegene wat ingeskakel is, en om tyd te gee vir Willem hulle om